Fam, what's going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Could I get a roll tide inside the comment box? What's up, fam? I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much for joining the show today. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys being here. Early risers inside the comment box. Max, Tim, Southern Red, Amanda, Max, Kevin, thank you very much for being a part of the show today right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Today is Tuesday. It is September 3rd. We are inching closer to the next Alabama football game, which will be Saturday at 6 p.m. against South Florida. We will have all the coverage right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys being here. Ruben, what's going on? Good morning to you. Chris from New Jersey, good morning to you. If you're listening to Spotify, on Spotify, thank you very much for listening to our podcast. Remember, you can just go to Spotify and type in Bama Football on YouTube. If you want to become a fan funder for only $2.99, you can support the product right here on Bama Football on YouTube by hitting the hyperlink at the home screen. Super chats greatly appreciated. How about that game last night? Florida State, another meltdown in Tallahassee. We're going to talk about it. They're just not it. Hayden, what's up, man? I see you coming to us from Colorado, man. That's what's up. Love Colorado. We're going to update you on Kadyn Proctor's status. It's kind of a vague update from Coach Kalen DeBoer yesterday, right? Regarding Alabama's starting left tackle, who was injured in the pregame before Western Kentucky. We're going to look at the offensive line without Kadyn Proctor. You remember the game against South Florida last year. I mean, 17-3. I know last year's last year, this year's this year, but still, Alex Golish will have his Bulls ready to go on Saturday. It's going to be a much better team than what you face in the Hilltoppers. I promise you that. But with that said, the line is, 31 points or something like that? So, I mean, this Alabama team clearly a buzzsaw right now. I'm going to give you my top 10 after week 1 of the college football season. And it's kind of crazy. Florida State played 2 games, already out of the playoffs theoretically. We haven't even had time to update the college football rankings. Man. What's up, Drewski? See you inside the comment box. I put together this morning, it took a lot of time. You know, I have the depth chart. And I kind of go over the depth chart with the pictures. Well, underneath the pictures, combined with the Pro Football Focus grades and the actual stats, I put all of that together, and it's amazing. I love stats. They tell the story. So at the back end of the show, you'll get the depth chart with the players' snap counts and their actual stats from week 1. And we'll update that for every Tuesday show. And remember, on Monday, I'll be live at 10 a.m. to take you through Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference. So now it'll get really rhythmic in terms of the coverage that you see right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Monday, 10 a.m., Tuesday, 9 a.m., Wednesday, 9 a.m., Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m., Saturday, during the game, Sunday, a segment from me, probably like 10, 15 minutes, and then evening content, whether those are replays or packaged content items. So I appreciate you guys being here, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. All right, let's go to our first topic, which is Florida State, okay? And they're not it. And I opened with it because, look, this was a program that really complained at the back end of last season, and it made me mad the way that Mike Norvell handled the back end of the season. When he was talking about kind of entitlement of getting in the playoffs, that they lost, that they were undefeated and they should have been in the playoffs. Look, were they a good team last year? Did they have a good run? Yeah. But were they a playoff team? No. He could have kept everything intact, but they quit. And then they lost to Georgia. And that was kind of the decline of where they're at right now. You look at Florida State from a glance. 3 straight losses, 3 embarrassing losses, okay? 3 embarrassing losses. You had an opportunity to play Georgia in the Orange Bowl. You failed your team and you didn't show up and you lost 66-3 on national TV. Playing Georgia is not a consolation prize any year. Specifically where Georgia is at in the college football world, you have an opportunity to play them. You lost 66-3. Okay. So you get the transfer to the transfer portal. You get a bunch of guys from Alabama, guys that I now feel bad for because they were sold something that isn't coming to fruition in Tallahassee. That they were going to be competitive once again, compete for the ACC, right? I feel bad. You know, the bet, honestly, not just because they're from here, do you honestly feel that Roydell Williams and Malik Benson are the best 2 players on their team? I do. I really do. Roydell Williams did a great job. Malik Benson, he's doing an amazing job. Then they lose to Georgia Tech on national TV. Then last night they lose to Boston College again on national TV. Monday Night Football. You know who the head football coach is of Boston College? Bill O'Brien. We used to have an emoji of him because it was hilarious that he was here. You imagine Mike Norvell, what, didn't it come out that he was like one of the finalists to come over here to Tuscaloosa? Man, talk about dodging a bullet. Totally a program that is trending down. 13-0 last year through the regular season, and now 0-2. They haven't. Their last game that they won is back in December, December 2nd against Louisville, a game that they struggled in. This is not a top 25 team. Can you imagine being a part of the Florida State fan base right now? Man. Yeah, so this hat is from the student store. They have all the gear, but I'm going to start getting some of the player gear from Athlete's Thread. Like you saw Ryan Williams and Jalen Mbakwe have a new podcast out, so you can get the gear at Athlete's Thread. They took a chance on DJU, right? He's not it. He wasn't it at Clemson. He wasn't it at Oregon State. He's not it at Florida State. Look, we can call it what it is. These guys, it's not like we have to sugarcoat and treat these guys like high school guys. We can be critical of them 1,000,000%. They're getting paid millions of dollars from their program. The guy last night, you see the Celsius commercial? Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel, was it Quinn Ewers and DJU? It's like one of these things does not belong here. You're getting paid millions of dollars to perform at the highest level. He's not performing. I mean, you might have to go and see who's the backup quarterback at Florida State. He's not accurate. He's not mobile. He's okay. He made a couple of throws. He had a couple drops for sure. Yo, I feel bad for the Chancellors. I feel bad for Roydell Williams and Malik Benson. Look, Roydell Williams is going to get his, and, you know, as you're going to, I mean, where's he going to play over here, right? It was time for him to go somewhere else. Malik Benson, it would probably be tough for him to get on the field here too, but still, I mean, they picked Florida State, being sold a pipe dream, right? Hey, what's up, JS Webb? I see you inside the comment box. Why did Florida State not replay their quarterback? I don't know, man. They need to play their backup quarterback. All right, that's what I got on Florida State. I can't believe it. It's another meltdown. I knew that they would lose to Boston College. I knew it. You know what? I cut that video at halftime. That's how confident I was. The video that I posted, the meltdown video, I cut it at halftime, and then I just pushed publish when they lost with like 3 minutes left. I appreciate you being here. Jake is like, I don't feel bad for them. I don't either. I don't either, man. It's on your coach. As soon as he started talking at the end of the season that they deserve to be in the playoffs, and what's the point of playing the games? Dude, the point of playing the games is to play the opponent that's lined up across from you. Don't say you're not entitled to. We talk about entitlement all the time. Nobody's entitled to anything. Nothing. Nothing. You're not entitled to anything. Was the college football playoff system broke? Yes. Before I move on, you know what makes me so mad? Is the players that didn't show up in the Orange Bowl because of Mike Norvell's comments. Because I go back to the Sugar Bowl, which is, Alabama was playing Kansas State. And guess who played in that game? Bryce Young and William Anderson. 2 top 5 picks. The number 1 player in the NFL draft played in that game. You know why? Because you finish what you started. All right. You imagine covering Florida State? Those guys must be printing money. There's so much drama. Our post-game show had 500? Their post-game show had 6,000 people on it because people are freaking out. And you know what? They'll probably win some games and give the team hope, and then they'll lose to Duke. They should have lost to Duke last year. All right. We move on. All right. Kadyn Proctor, the big news around the team is that Kadyn Proctor is out with an injury. Now, it's an upper body injury. It looks like a shoulder injury. You have Kevin inside the comment box who's dealing with a shoulder injury right now himself. Shoulder injuries, it's delicate. I don't know what the exact issue is with his shoulder. Coach Kadyn Proctor said yesterday that it's manageable. I think at this point, he's out for this coming game against South Florida. Not that big of a deal. But Wisconsin and Georgia are on the horizon. It is something to be concerned about. You don't sugarcoat it and say the next guy in is going to be, just fine. Now, the thing is, Alabama, and as you'll see, I'm going to show you the depth chart and the amount of snap counts that everybody played from the tackle position to the guard position. Tim, I don't know if he called it day to day, man. From what I understand, he's not going to play on Saturday. 0%. And I don't know if he'll be ready for Wisconsin. Again, and do you need him to play for Wisconsin? I don't know. Manageable is not terrible. I agree with that. On the positive side, you do have Jeff Allen. They have, he's been able to get guys up to speed faster than I've ever seen before. You need him 100%, Kadyn Proctor, for that Georgia game. The good thing about where things stand right now is you have South Florida, Wisconsin, and then you have an open week. So theoretically, you could sit him this whole point in time to make sure that he's healthy and that shoulder's good to go for the Georgia game on September 28th, right? You have 25 days to get him up to speed. Max he needs to sit. Shoulders are tough recoveries. Yeah. So, and that's what I was wondering, Case, is how do you get hurt in warmups? Out of all the things that we've seen, man, I think Coach Kadyn Proctor was even he's never seen that before, right? And Coach Kadyn Proctor didn't really go into detail. Now, because of a new rule, they're going to have to list him, his official status, I think by Thursday or by Friday. I'm just going to go out on a whim here and say that he's not playing against South Florida. I think we can all agree that he's not playing against South Florida, right? Yeah, and Kevin, I'm with you. I think the game against Wisconsin will be, the most challenging game up to this point, when we get there. But you know what? Even looking before that, the South Florida team, I'm telling you, they're good. South Florida is much better than Western Kentucky. The quarterback is much better than TJ Finley. Their football coach, Alex Golish, has them trending in the right direction. Shoot, I don't know. They probably even beat Florida State. All right, so what does the offensive line look like if Kadyn Proctor can't go? Okay, well, here you go. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys watching right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Patriot Life in with 5 fan funderships. I appreciate you supporting the product, helping the community continue to build right here on Bama Football on YouTube. If you want to become a fan funder, $2.99 to support the product. If you're listening on Spotify, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I know you can't see the graphic on Spotify, so I'll explain what I'm talking about. We're looking at Alabama's offensive line without Kadyn Proctor from left to right, and you look to the left, and you got Elijah Pritchett, who will be the left tackle, I would assume. 34 snaps in this last game against Western Kentucky. And going forward, I'll list the snaps in total going into each game. So I spent time this morning updating all of that data, and I have it for every single position. I love analytics. I love data. I think it tells a story. It's factual information. I think it's useful, paints this picture, and then we don't have to be hypothetically guessing on everything, right? So Elijah Pritchett will start at left tackle. He had 34 snaps. And I showed the Pro Football Focus grades yesterday if you want to go and look at that. None of these linemen, to be honest, were graded that high. I'm not concerned about that. The more snap counts that you have, the better your grade will rise. I mean, and look, none of these guys even played over 50 snaps. Tyler Booker in at left guard, 33 snaps against Western Kentucky. Parker Brailsford, 33 snaps against Western Kentucky. Jaden Roberts. See that picture floating around of Jaden Roberts on social media? He's pulling. That might be the scariest photo I've ever seen of an Alabama player. I'm serious. Who saw that photo I'm talking about? Then you got Wilcom Formby. I think Wilcom Formby was the highest graded offensive lineman from this last game. It is what it is. So that's what the offensive line is going to look like against South Florida, in my opinion. I think that Kadyn Proctor will be out. And when you look to the offensive line, I didn't really see a lot of issues from the interior offensive linemen. Jaden Roberts, that surgery that he had following the second scrimmage, didn't bother him in the slightest. Parker Brailsford did a really good job. I know there was one snap that went over Milroe's head. I think that was just, first game jitters or, Milroe clapped too early or whatever. Not worried about that at all. Tyler Booker looks like one of the best offensive linemen in college football. Now, look, I feel good about this line setup right here going against South Florida and Wisconsin, but how do you feel if we're going against Georgia right now? You're probably a little bit concerned. Or maybe not. I don't know. This is the college football top 25 real quick. I'll just kind of run down. Georgia up at the top beat Clemson 34-3. Ohio State beat Akron. Now that it's filled out, kind of go over, and I'll provide my top 10 here after this. Texas beat Colorado State. Alabama beat Western Kentucky. Ole Miss beat Furman. Notre Dame beat Texas A&M in College Station. Penn State beat West Virginia. Michigan beat Fresno State 30-10 in a game that was relatively close throughout. Florida State lost to Boston College, now 0-2 on the season, 28-13 in Tallahassee. Missouri beat Murray State 51-0. Utah beat Southern Utah 49-0. LSU lost to number 23 USC 27-7. You guys know the rest of the scores. Let me ask you. We got 200 on. If you could get 200 thumbs up, I appreciate it. Let me ask you this. I'm about to show you my top 10. Can you post inside the comment box your top 5? Take off your little Alabama hat and just post your top 5. What are your top 5 teams? Just right now, I feel that the rankings really shouldn't be released until like week 4 or 5, but I get it. TV ratings, we need to, we love numbers. But like Florida State, my goodness, ranked 10. They're not even going to be in the top 25. The ranking should come out today. If I had to rank the teams right now, 1 through 10, based off the games that I saw, This is how my rankings would look. Okay. I would go with Georgia number 1. I would go with Texas number 2. I would go Bama number 3. I would go Ohio State. Then I go Ole Miss. I go USC. I go LSU. I go Oregon, Michigan, and I guess Notre Dame. I don't even like having Notre Dame in there, but they did win on the road against Texas A&M. I thought about maybe even adding like a Miami or someone like that. I don't know. I don't know who 10 is. Jonathan has it Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Alabama. Tim doesn't have enough info, right? I don't know, Daryl. Miami, they look good against a weak Florida team, right? But who else in like the top 20 really impressed you? Jeff has it Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss. Okay, I like that. Ohio State, I mean, they got to win like the big one. See, Marcus kind of likes Miami too. My rationale for my top 10 kind of works like this. And I think, 1 through 5, pretty easy, right? Those, maybe the top 3 are interchangeable or whatever. Georgia, Texas, and Bama. Look, that USC football team, I mean, I watched the game. I love the quarterback play. I love the fact that USC, for once, has a defense. Yo, that was a good team. Yo, the Branch dude might be one of the most electric players in all of college football behind Jalen Milroe. LSU's quarterback, he's really good. They have really good wide receivers. Those 2 quarterbacks were balling out. It felt like I was watching a playoff game. I get it. Brian Kelly slammed the desk. He was mad. He lost another home opener. That's a good football team. Aaron Anderson, I like the way he was utilized as well. That's a good team. Look, Oregon, the numbers that Dylan Gabriel put up at quarterback were crazy. He put up so many numbers, but they barely beat FCS Idaho in Eugene. Like, I don't understand that. And maybe I should have put Michigan at number 8. I don't know. They barely beat Fresno State. Maybe I should have put Michigan at 8. You are spicy this morning. You know what? I didn't get a workout in this morning. I think that's why I'm a little bit edgy. Because I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and I didn't set my alarm, so I didn't get a workout in. So I might sound a little bit edgy. Might be coming off a little hot. I think I'm just tired of these pretenders. Like, the Florida State makes me so mad. It makes me so mad because people think that they're good. They're not. If you listen to all of my shows, I always talk smack about them because it's hilarious. I don't even stay up past 9:30. Last night I stayed up late to watch these guys lose because it was comedy. In Notre Dame, I feel the same way about them. I feel kind of dirty for listing them in my top 10. I don't buy them at all. I don't buy them. I just didn't know who to put. Plus, I was rushed against time. I like their coach. You know, it's cool. I used to watch them growing up on TV. I have an uncle who loves Notre Dame. It's pretenders. And every single time they've played Alabama, there was the one time that the score was a little bit close, but we all watched the game. It wasn't close. And Dan Lanning to be talking all that, puffing his chest out and barely beating Idaho. Let me ask you this, okay, before I move on from my top 10. Can you imagine? I don't want to cuss this morning. Can you imagine the crap that Alabama would get by the national media if they barely beat Idaho? If they barely beat Fresno State? Alabama football is held to a completely different standard every single year. You beat Western Kentucky 63-0. 63-0 in this age of college football. And they're like, well, they're supposed to do that. Western Kentucky sucks. Oregon plays Idaho somewhat close, and people are like, well, maybe Idaho's good. if Alabama and Idaho played each other, can you imagine if this? Yes, Idaho's FCS now. The Vandals. They play in the does the Kirby Dome still exist? Do you get my point? If Alabama played Idaho and the score was close, oh my God. Alabama wouldn't even make the playoffs if it was a 2-touchdown win by Alabama. They would be penalized. But Oregon is still going to be like a top 5 team. I love this case. Here's the top. I like this list. Top 5 fraud list. FSU, Notre Dame, Michigan, Oregon, LSU. I take off LSU. I think they're good. Plus, Alabama plays them at Death Valley. That place is wild. Hey, Mar, what's up? Is Prentice second team? I'm going to show you the entire stats. I broke down all of the stats, all the players, all the snap grades, and I'm bringing it to you visually. Look, it is good. I'm going to show you in a second. I just want to talk smack about a couple of these teams. No, I know. LSU is good. All right. That's my top 10. And right now is RN for those of you that are older than 40, like me. Like my daughter, she texted me the other day. IKR. Does anybody know what that means? IKR. It's like IKR. All right. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Today, we led off with Florida State is not it. We talked about Kadyn Proctor's status. We looked at the offensive line without Kadyn Proctor. I talked about my top 10 right now. Now I want to get into one of my graphics that I'm proud of. I know, right? Thank you. Yes. I know my daughter, who's 11, typed in IKR. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? Of course, I didn't text her that, but I was like, what? So now people would text me. I text them IKR. I'm like, IKR. I know that, man. Shoot. You know, I'm used to the other, like the older ones. LOL. Right? All right. Okay, let's okay, so this is a labor of love. This took me a long time. It took me like an hour and 20 minutes. So humor me with this, okay? Gas me up. All right, so what I did was I went through every single position, every single player. BRB. See, I remember that, JS. That's my thing. Be right back, right? And I listed the player. Let's start with Jalen Miro. Jalen Miro, the amount of snaps, and then, pass attempts, yards, rushing attempts, and so forth. And I did this for the entire team, okay? It took me an hour and 40 minutes. So we are going to go through this. I'm gonna talk to you about this. I know what you mean, Max Tooney. That's a good one too. All right. So we're looking at Jalen Milroe. Okay. I know. I've been edgy this morning. For those of you that are talking smack about Jalen Milroe, stop. Like you're wasting air. It's ridiculous. Someone came on one of the Florida State videos last night and was like, man, Jalen Milroe is barely better than DJ. Dude, they're not even in the same comparison. You're talking about a guy who's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. Like, get behind him. People are saying that Ty Simpson did better than Jalen Milroe. Look, I love Ty Simpson. Who doesn't? He's a great kid. Was he better than Jalen Milroe? No, he's not. Look at the numbers. 34 snaps. 7 of 9 passing. 7 of 9. This is like a video game. 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. 10 rushing attempts, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you're still not satisfied? What if your quarterback was DJU? God bless. Like, support the kid, man. Seriously, you would be so worried if you didn't have Jalen Milroe. And I get it. You have confidence in Ty Simpson. I do too. But you would be worried if Jalen Milroe was off the screen right now. Ty Simpson, was he good? Yeah, he was good. 5 of 9, 66 yards, two rushing attempts, 34 yards, and a touchdown. Loved it. Was he better than Jalen Milroe? No. Look, I didn't make up any of these stats. Those are the stats. What stats are better? You've seen football before. What stats are better? Damn. And then you know what? There's people that are like, oh, dude, you're a Jalen Milroe hater. Stupid. Dylan Lonergan played in 13 snaps. He's a 13 quarterback. We didn't see any Austin Mack. I thought Austin Mack was the 13 quarterback. I was wrong. Dylan Lonergan. Yo, I didn't realize that Dylan. Did you see when Dylan Lonergan ran out? Yo, he's got some athleticism too. We're going to go by this one by one because I worked on this. It was tight when Ty Simpson ran into the end zone. There's that photo of him, and he's just like to the stands. It's good. I love the story of Ty Simpson. Dude doesn't complain. Zero entitlement. His dad's a coach. Sorry, you don't start. Wait your turn. But I should be the starter. I've been here for 3 years. I don't care. Someone's better than you right now. My job as the head football coach is to win games. When your name is called to win games, you win games. But right now, you are not the starter. If you've been on a team, you understand that when your name is called, you perform at the highest level. If somebody's better than you, do you complain? Do you go to your dad? Do you go to your mom? No. You play the game and you practice and you wait your turn. Look at this graphic. You know what? Did you notice this? No, Jimmy, I'm just saying that people are mad about, like, people aren't satisfied with Jalen Milroe. They're still like doubting him. It's stupid. Did you notice, or was it just me? I mean, the snaps tell a story. Kalen DeBoer played just about everybody. Coach Saban would keep the starters in, I promise you. And you're like, no, he took him out. No, he took off the gas pedal, but he played the players so they had 4 quarters of game experience. But, I mean, you rarely saw the amount of players play like you did under Coach Kalen DeBoer. I promise you. Hey, thanks, Aaron. I know there's about 500 Alabama YouTube channels, man. Go support them all. Appreciate it, man. It's like I don't care. If you want to be here, be here. I love it. You know? You want to be somewhere else? You ever tried to chase somebody? Don't. They want to be here, they want to be here. Yo, but look at this. Look at the running backs. Start on the left and go to the right. Jam Miller, 17 snaps, 5 attempts, 54 yards, 1 touchdown, an average of 10.8. He had a longest of what, like 39 where he jumped into the end zone? You're like, damn, that's amazing. He's the best running back. He had the best numbers. Like, oh, wait, hold on. There's a guy who played less snaps, who had less attempts, and who had almost double the yardage. You're like, what? Justice Haynes played in 12 snaps, 4 rushing attempts, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, an average of 25.5. Yo, that's crazy. Richard Young, 11 snaps, 6 attempts, 7 yards. Yo, they were bottling. It was interesting because you could run on Western Kentucky, but every single time that Richard Young got in, they played like their best defense, and they were like stuffing him up. And I was mad about it because he was on my DraftKings team. And yes, I did win, and I won a cool $600 because I followed the team. I knew the storyline of the game, okay? If you want to play DraftKings, you want some inside information, let me know. I'll help you out. Daniel Hill looked great. 15 attempts, 15 snaps, 9 attempts, 23 yards. Actually, Kevin Riley's number You could say they're better. 11 snaps, 7 attempts. Yo, Kevin Riley's fast. A lot faster than I thought. He looked good. Did you guys see Kevin Riley? He impressed, right? Yo, this running, and the Fs mean freshmen, like true freshmen. Look at that stable. That's a stable of running backs. There's a tandem, a superstar tandem, and then the entire group collectively is a stable. Hey, do you guys like the graphics with the stats? I'm a visual person. To me, it's a lot better than just two people just, well, what did you think, Down? Well, I don't know. It looked pretty good to me. You need like interaction. You need to like visually see stuff. All right, here's a tight end group. All right, C.J. Dupree played in 17 snaps. He had 1 reception for 8 yards. Robbie Oots just 9 snaps. Danny Lewis, to my surprise, played in 24 snaps. Josh Cuevas, who's transferred in from Washington, that's what that icon means. He had 19 snaps, 1 reception for 4 yards. Jay Lindsey played in 5 snaps. And Ty Lockwood played in 9 snaps. So there you go. A lot of guys getting the rotation in at the tight end room. Hey, Caleb, I appreciate it. Derek, what's up, man? Good to see you, Derek. Hey, thanks, Marcus. I appreciate you being here. You out of Prozac. All right, we continue. All right, here's the wide receiver room. Look at this. This is one of my favorite. This graphic and the safety graphic were my funnest to put together. Look at this. Because I was curious what the rotation would look like in the wide receiver room, right? Well, here you go. Jeremy Bernard to the far left, 35 snaps, 1 reception for 17 yards. Kendrick Law, 11 snaps, 1 reception for 22 yards and a touchdown. 1 reception, 22 yards, touchdown. Kobe Prentice, look, people are like, is he second team? I don't know. He had the most receptions on the team. I mean, he had more receptions than Ryan Williams. He played in 19 snaps. He played in 3 receptions, 43 yards. That's the thing about this team is I think they are so talented at the wide receiver position that they don't have like a set start of like 11 starters. Based on formations, based off packages, down in distance, they can do different things and have a lot of different guys in. Yo, Ryan Williams, 17 years old, came in, played 19 snaps, light work, 2 receptions, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 plus 4 equals 6, right? By the way, check out his new podcast, The New Wave. Look it up. Him and Jalen Mbakwe. Support the gear, too. Athlete's Thread. Emmanuel Henderson, look, 22 snaps. He had a reception for 10 yards. Cole Adams had 19 snaps. And by the way, he's your starting punt returner. The F means true freshman. How about Caleb Odom? Yo, he played in the second most snaps out of all the wide receivers behind Jeremy Bernard. Had 2 receptions for 23 yards. And Rico Scott, 14 snaps. There was a couple other walk-ons that got in, and I saw them listed in the snap count, but I don't know if they got into like special teams. So as the season matures, I'll add the players that have the appropriate numbers of snap counts. Jimmy says, Kyle, DeBoer is spreading the wealth. Well, let me ask you this. So a couple things. In this world of NIL, transfer portal, you have to play players. You have to. You have to get guys reps. You can't just leave them on the bench. Like 5-6 years ago, I think the game changed. That was something that, Coach Saban, he wouldn't always play the players. Like freshmen would definitely come in, but now you have to get a heavy rotation of guys, not only for the experience because of the season's going to be a grind, but also to show them, hey, we can utilize you in these different packages so these players don't transfer out, right? I think that's also part of it. Plus, these guys are ready to play. Yeah, Jaron Hamilton, Jalen Hell, those are guys that, I don't even have on the board, right? Yeah, Quay Russo, definitely, man. We're moving through this. We'll get to the defense in just a second. All right, here's the offensive line. Oh, this was a good graphic to put together as well. All right, so what I did was I labeled out the depth chart. So starting from the left at left tackle, you have Kadyn Proctor, who's injured, week to week, a shoulder injury. You have Tyler Booker, who played in 33 snaps. I talked about the first team offensive line. Parker Brailsford, 33 snaps. Jaden Roberts, 31 snaps at guard. 34 snaps from Wilcom Formby at right tackle. And then at left tackle, Elijah Pritchett with 34 snaps. But look how many guys Coach Kalen DeBoer got in the game at offensive line. I couldn't even list all the photos because there were so many guys. I'll read them out. Nyquil Bentrade at tackle, 28 snaps. Miles McVay at tackle, 28 snaps. Graham Rotten, 5 snaps at tackle. Rock Montgomery, 30 at guard. Olas Allen in 26 at guard. Casey Poe, 8 at guard. Will Sanders, 8 at guard. Gino Vandermark, 4 at guard. Joseph Ionita, 28 at center. Isn't that wild how many offensive linemen played? What's up, Derek Cole? Do I think you're going to win it all? Yeah. I mean, you saw the Vegas. I mean, before the season, Alabama was like plus 1,400. And they already jumped to like, what, plus 600 or something like that? I think they saw the buzzsaw. Red Pete saying stats can be misleading. The second offensive line had more snaps in the second half, starters in the first half. Yeah, I like that. You got a lot of guys that got snaps. A lot of guys who got in the game. I didn't realize this amount of linemen played. What's up, Ryan? Good morning to you, man. Appreciate you being here. All right, we look at the D tackle position. $19 freshmen. That is wild. Tim Keenan, 31 snaps, 2 tackles. Tim Smith, 25 snaps. Jaheim Otis, 23 snaps. Yo, I thought Jaheim Otis and Tim Keenan were moving around, and they looked amazing. And then, James Smith, look at his stats. He played 26 snaps, 3 tackles. The BU, that means pass breakups, getting a big paw up there, and he had 1 quarterback hurry. Damon Payne had 17 snaps, Hunter Osborne 3, and Edric Hill had 6. Yo, James Smith. Yo, he's... Look at the talent that they could rotate in with those first 5. James Smith is really good. I mean, he might have won like the D-line MVP of that group. And Tim Keenan's fast. You imagine if Tim Keenan was chasing you? I promise you out there, Tim Keenan's faster than you. He's sitting there listening on your computer or watching or have it listening as you're driving. Tim Keenan's faster than you. At least like first 15 yards. You're like, no, he's not. 320, whatever. Yeah, he is. He's faster than you. All right. The bandit position, I was interested. Like, I went through the snaps and the stats. So check this out. You have Jamarian Lathan, who played at this bandit position, 26 snaps. LT Overton, who had a fantastic game, played in 30 snaps, 4 tackles, by the way. Keon Keeley, only 3 snaps. I know we're gonna talk about that. And Jordan Renard, 8 snaps. I don't know why he only played 3 snaps. Talking about Keon Keeley, Yanzi Pierre, as you'll see, he only played in 3 snaps as well. Sometimes it just takes time for these guys to get on. Demetrius is like, not faster than me, faster than you. No, man. Yo, I got speed. I promise you. I'm just saying, Tim Keenan's fast, man. I don't know. Why don't you think? Okay, let me ask you, Undefeated. Why don't you think Keon Keeley's playing more? Is it just because, LT Overton and Jamarian Lathan, is it just because they're, eating more at the table? I mean, surely it's not a talent thing. I just don't know. I think he's going to be fine. I think it's just kind of a, it's a process.